Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here in the Sims 4, and today we are building a mid-century family home, and we are back in Copperdale. What's going on? I feel like I'm finding worlds and then I'm just like mass building in them, which is not really what I wanted to do with this channel, but you know, it is what it is, and here we are. So yes, this is going to be a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom family home. So it's going to be quite a small family home, but I think it still works in here. So this is for 2 adults and their infant child. Excuse the back garden. We're preparing for the future. Anyone who's been on this channel for a while knows what that means. Yeah, I kind of misaged the child. Anyway, moving on. You can see the floor plan there. We have a kind of a nice downstairs with 1 bathroom and 1 bedroom, and then upstairs we have another bedroom and a bathroom. I do make sure that we have a bath, so the upstairs bathroom has just a bath in it, the downstairs has just a shower, so you can have that mixture in there necessary for looking after a little one in the game. Now, I've gone back to my mint green, and I actually really like this colour combination. In here, I was kind of umming and ahhing between what kind of colours to use for this build. I knew I wanted the stone. That stone is so kind of 50s, kind of mid-century look, that I think it just works so well, and growing together works perfectly for this sort of look in there. So yes, there is a lot of that build pack in this build here, but yeah, you can see we also carried on the kind of mint soft green with the windows in here, and I've tried to make it a little bit symmetrical on both sort of wings, I guess we can really call them, of this house in here, and yeah, put it all together really nicely. And I feel like the white kind of popping through just adds a really nice small little touch to this whole sort of build, and it looks really good, at least I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you kind of like this smaller, simpler kind of build? Let me know if you'd like to see more of, and let me know, what is your favourite world to build in? Do you have a particular world, a particular style? I seem to have lots of go-tos at the moment. As I said in my last video, I am still battling Builder's Block. This was literally done in like 2 hours of panic building. I think it's probably the best way to put it. This was panic building, because I did not have anything ready for today, and so yeah, we quickly got this done, which is why it's a bit smaller, a bit more simple, and yeah, lots of reference images kind of coming in for what to do with this sort of build in here. As you can see, I have just moved it forward to give me a bit more of a sort of garden. This lot, I don't particularly like the shape of this lot. It's one of those odd, I think it's actually a 15 by 20, yeah, or 20 by 15. So it's long and thin, and it's, no, thinner. Anyway, it's not the normal sort of size, 15 by 20 that we normally get. It's found the other way, which makes doing it really complicated, and I don't particularly like this lot for that reason. I have built a couple of times in here. Yes, here are the toddler equipment. Planning for the future, people. We're planning for the future in here. And yeah, I tried to stay away from doing this build, but this was like the perfect place for this build, because it was such a long, thin kind of build that I thought would work perfectly in here, and it fits in the town and the kind of vibe of this area really well as well. So yeah, this sort of back garden area, we kind of improve it over time. We have that sort of small little seating area where you just have some like kind of plasticky sort of chairs. The toddler equipment in that end, I feel like maybe you can change that out to more infant equipment, but I kind of had it in my head now after I built it that it's just about to age up to a toddler. So we're planning for the future, but it's fine. And obviously at the other end we have this sort of gardening section. I feel like kind of 50s, kind of mid-century here, where there was a lot of kind of growing your own food. There was lots of kind of sort of gardening aspects coming in there, with like allotments and things like that, especially here in the UK. Apparently, so I've researched. When I came up with MissKinghorn's, all sort of the gardens had little areas of like vegetables and things like that, which is something I really wanted to kind of get in here. So that's why we used this sort of section of the garden in here. And when I actually play tested this, I came through and placed down some bell peppers and tomatoes and things like that, just to kind of make that more fitting into there as well. So now we're going to actually jump into the interior of this house. I do actually slightly change some of this. So originally I wanted the kitchen on the sort of far left here, in that kind of wing over there, but I couldn't visualize it. It felt too, it was an odd size kind of space in there. So as you notice, I end up placing like tiled wallpaper in there. I end up changing that out so that basically the middle section here ends up being a kitchen diner, with the living room on the far left of here, and I think that works a lot better as a layout. It wasn't really what I had in mind, because I thought it would be better to go through the living room to the kitchen, but you know, I had to move things around a little bit in here. But now we're jumping in to actually furnishing all of this in here. So I wanted to kind of keep it very kind of 50s, very kind of retro, kind of very simple in the terms of that in here. So using a lot of the green as well, but also kind of very much what the sort of was available at that kind of genre in there. Right. Anyway, this build I am doing in the middle of a heatwave. So if I know what I'm doing in this bedroom, that is because I've already done it. I was happily building along. I had just saved before we came into the actual house, and sitting there working away, and then doof, massive power cut. Lost all of the entrance hall, all of the this bedroom. So yeah, I've had to kind of redo all of that. I hadn't kept the recording was gone. The yeah, all of the sort of furnishing of this in game was gone as well. So yeah, I had to redo everything. And listen to myself. Always save. And record in little chunks rather than like 2 hours at a time in the middle of a heatwave. But anyway, that is just what it is. It is sweltering here in the UK as I am recording this. Luckily enough, by this voiceover, semi-broken, we're now just very humid, which anyone who knows what UK weather's like knows how fun that is. In here. So this is where I try to place the living room in here, and this living room, it just feels too big. So I did want this to be a living room, dining room, but it just didn't work for me. I felt like the living area was too small, because you've got these big archways leading from the main hallway to what was originally going to be the kitchen. It just felt like the space was too small. So we changed things out and moved them into here, and then we get in the fireplace as well, which fits in with the chimney on the roof. But I think this is a lot better, and I have made sure that your Sims can sit in all the chairs and do bits and pieces in there as well. So it is sort of play tested in there as well, and trying to get in this records player fits perfectly with the vibe that I was really sort of going for in here. Yeah, I feel like this is a very much kind of on theme kind of house for what I really wanted in here. We've got some puzzles, couple of books. I really wanted to get this phone in. You can see I placed it down here on the fireplace because obviously nowadays we don't have phones like this in our homes. But it was in keeping with kind of the aesthetics that I really wanted for this house. And now we've got in some records to go with the player over on the side there, and the very old kind of TV in there, and lots of sort of big rugs that maybe are covering it up, kind of dirty or kind of bad flooring in there as well, which I think is something very much of the genre in there. And I do come in and change all the colours of this because I wanted those bookshelves. I think those bookshelves fit the theme, but they don't come in that dark kind of mahogany wood. So I ended up kind of changing that out to a really soft, lighter kind of wood theme in there, which I then kind of go, okay, the people living here have got light wood furniture, but the house aesthetic with like the stairs, the archway and all that is dark wood, because maybe they're renting it, or maybe that was originally there and they just can't change it for whatever reason, but they have really light furniture. So I kind of mishmash the two together, and I think it actually kind of works in there in terms of like the floorings, the dark wood, the stairs, the archways. That's really in keeping, and the kitchen, but their own personal touches are kind of lighter in sort of wood tone in there as well. But this is the kitchen. I have kept it very simple and very kind of basic in here. Again, a lot of the kitchen clutter kit, which you know I love. If you've watched even one more of my videos, you know I love that pack in here. And yeah, we managed to find the island. You could see that I wanted to put an island in there, but there just was not space for a proper island canvas. They're just too big for this space, so I decided to go with this one, which works in there really, really nicely. And then also getting in some pictures that, again, I keep forgetting there's these items in game, and so we've got those in. And now some kitchen cabinets just on that section, which has got the kind of oven cooker in it. In there, whilst the fridge was on the other side, and there's a few bits and pieces. The parenthood board, I don't think again that's something that you would really use with an infant, but maybe it's something as they would grow up. Maybe it's like their star chart or like the reading chart or something like that at this stage, where they're sort of reading book, well not necessarily reading book, but having books read to them, things like that. I've just kind of added in a few other bits and pieces. I did add in a high chair and some food on the floor as well. You can't really actually see it because it's on top of the other rug, but that's something I tend to do when it comes to high chairs, is to place like food drops where, you know, you've got a kid that's maybe a little bit messy, doesn't know how to eat properly. And it's just those small little details that I absolutely kind of love, adding in that realism into the builds that we do in here as well. And then a nice big sort of dining table up this end, fitting in really well. And then a nice little picture of maybe the family in here. But now we're jumping up into the kids' bedroom. This I had a little bit of difficulty with. I didn't really know what I wanted to go for when it came to this kid's bedroom, in sort of theme wise, or kind of even I just struggled with this room a little bit more in here as well. So I think in the end we go for this sort of light blue one, and then we kind of go clouds and sort of light wood and things like that for a kind of little boy in here, that I think works in really nicely. And I love the seagulls that are actually on this rug. It's just that small little detail that I think works in here really well. Now, this is the only potty that we have in here, and it had to go in the sort of nursery room here. It doesn't fit in any of the bathrooms. You lucky people are actually going to see 2 bathrooms today. So normally I don't show you 1, now I'm going to show you 2 in here, because this video is very, very short. And yeah, we managed to get those in as well in there. But yeah, this room is coming together, sort of soft light wood coming through with that sort of nice blue. I think it really works in there, and then a very kind of on point rocking chair in there for feeding, getting them to sleep, sort of things like that. But then this is the first of the two sort of bathrooms upstairs, and you can see I really wanted to get a shower bath combo in, but it just was not going to work, so ended up going for a bath. I really wanted then this sort of terracotta, not terracotta, the sort of green avocado, that's the word I'm looking for, bath in here. It just didn't really fit because there was not the rest of the kind of bathroom furniture to match, so I ended up having to change it to this kind of off-white kind of grey look, and I think that works in there really, really well. And it's a very simple sort of bathroom, not a lot going on in there, but now this is the downstairs bathroom, and we end up getting in the shower in there. But if you have enjoyed this build, then please give it a big thumbs up and comment down in the description below, and you can answer any of the questions I asked earlier as well. And yeah, I will post this up onto the gallery right now, so you can download this straight away, and you can also follow me on pretty much all social medias. The links to those are in my link tree, so just click on that link and then click on whichever one you want, and you'll find me over there. But until next time, stay happy, stay building. Bye everyone!